This episode is brought to you by Cantiani Insurance Agency, insurance professionals specializing in home, auto, flood, and investment properties. They are the most referred insurance agency in Massachusetts. If you want coverage you can trust, call 508-791-2088 or visit cantianiagency.com. We also welcome a new sponsor, Wizard Computer Services, providing outsourced IT and cybersecurity since 1997. Call 781-341-2222 or visit www.wizardcpu.com for more information. New England's cybersecurity experts. On today's podcast, former Patriot quarterback, radio color analyst for the New England Patriots, and co-host for the Zolak and Bertrand show on 98.5, one of the best performing shows on air. Scott Zolak, how we doing?
We're doing great, guys. Love you. I know I'm on vacation this week, and what a great week to be on vacation away from some of the stuff that's going on up there in New England. Part of it, we can touch on it real quick, the Mike Vrabel situation. With Diana Rossini. I know I stand by my comments on the show. I don't get ripped for it publicly by awful announcing, Pro Football Talk, Page 6 in New York. I don't care. I have two really good jobs, the radio obviously for 4 hours a day. And I just finished my 14th year doing a radio broadcast for the team where I worked with Bill Belichick for 20 years. So the process is during the week, I do my radio show, then I do my Belichick taping for TV on Tuesday. Then we do another taping for radio. And then on game day, I do the interview. So I did that with Bill for 20 years, did it with Gerard Mayo for 1 year. And then this past year with Mike Vrabel. And I got a lot of respect for Mike. I've known Mike for a while. I know his wife. I know his two kids. One is a grad assistant at BC. I know Diana from covering the league for a while, and she's done a good job covering the league. And anything that's happened, it's like, what am I? I'm not a beat reporter. I have a radio show, and I know I have to talk about things, but there's nothing good that could come out of this by me talking about it. And I know I've gotten ripped for it. I don't care. I love the Patriots. I love my show, and I have to walk a fine line. And this happens a lot. Like, we have Joe Mazzulla all the time. We're really good friends with Joe Mazzulla. If something happened with Joe Mazzulla, I would say the same thing. You have relationships with people, and I respect the hell out of Mike. And my job is to comment on what Mike does with the football team, the energy he brings, the culture, the environment. You guys know this about chemistry. Chemistry is everything within a building. It was miserable the previous 2 years. The 4-win seasons were miserable. And Mike turned it around in 1 year. And, the Stephon Diggs thing happened about this time last year, the stuff on the boat in Miami.
Right. Yep.
And I had a tidbit. This is where it gets weird for me, because I had a tidbit from somebody that I trusted very well that potentially he was not around the team, that something might happen. He might not be with the team. And I said that on air. And they were upset in the building. Then Diggs got on a plane, came back, and Steph was fantastic this year. And I'm going to miss having him because I like him as a former Terrapin. So go Terps, Spirit Turtle. But he brought leadership on the field, off the field. But as you guys know, when you play quarterback, you need speed on the outside. And there was something with Steph. For a guy to come back 6 months, 7 months after that type of knee
unbelievable
surgery,
what he did. Yeah.
I mean, he catches everything. And he was there in the biggest games, whether it was Buffalo early in the year up there, game 4 to get Drake going. The Baltimore game on a 4th and 2, the touchdown catch against the Texans, and just when you get to the Super Bowl and you get to the pinnacle, I think their plan was in 3 years to be what Seattle was. Seattle's there. It was their time.
Yeah.
But hey, we were in that game, 6-0, 9-0. Defense kept it in it. We couldn't make a play on offense. I think they looked at it and go back and make the tape. So we need explosive guys. You bring in Dobbs, and I just think, who we're going to get in June. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't know that, but I think it's going to happen.
Been some serious buzz.
Some
serious buzz down there lately. Shining a bright light on Vrabel. Like, I'm a Titans fan. Grew up a Titans fan, and he was the head coach of the Titans for a long time.
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, unbelievable, right? Unbelievable.
And you talk remember about when he got up on
setting
draft
the standard with the culture.
And I'm friends with John Robinson, who was a GM at the time. John was here, and then they traded A.J. Brown on draft day, Mike got up and left the room.
Yeah, I saw that today. I
saw that clip today. Yeah.
But what I love about Vrabel is like it's all out in the open. Bill Belichick would protect a lot of things and put it all on him. All the pressure and all the negativity would go to Bill. And he had no problem with that because he didn't care what people thought. I think Mike does care what people think. And he answers things truthfully. And we had a hell of a year. This is a fun year, man. I got to call my, I think it was my 6th Super Bowl. So it's been a hell of a ride we've had, man. It's been awesome.
What is the biggest difference? Like you were around the Belichick era and around the team so much, and then obviously the last 2 years. What's the biggest difference between like Vrabel and Belichick and just the culture around the team and what you've seen?
Bill's the greatest head coach I've ever been around. I had Parcells. I've had Pete Carroll, who I think is a Hall of Fame coach. Bill Belichick is obviously a Hall of Fame. It's an effing travesty what happened this year for him, and it's an embarrassment. It really is. So my best Belichick story was when I left New England and the Jets picked me up with Parcells. I had Parcells. He was phenomenal. Run through a wall for him. The day I got to the Jets, Belichick had a pencil in his ear and a legal pad. And he and I sat in the weight room for 3 hours, and we went through every single player in the New England roster, giving you the positives and negatives about each guy. And he's writing it down. This is how maniacal the guy is. But his preparation to have teams ready, Parcells was the same way. Jimmy Johnson was the same way. Pete was different. And I think what the best thing for Pete was to go to USC, win the way he did, then bring that environment to Seattle. Then you get the Legion of Boom. I mean, that was for me calling Super Bowls. That was my favorite one. 28-3 happened, and that's kind of freakish. But for us to be down to Seattle, 14 points in the second half, that was all Shane Marine and Brady in that second half, and Gronkowski. It was unbelievable. That was the best one to me. Vrabel's a lot like Bill from the preparation standpoint, but Mike, the former players see that, resonate to that. He's waiting in the tunnel, shaking every guy's hand, win or loss. And I asked him this. I said, when did that start? Like game 4, game 1 here? He goes, dude, I've been doing that for 6 years since I've been in Tennessee. And he is so genuine. Like none of it is fake. Like you wave produce back here. Oh, okay. Yeah. My son. So he's here on vacation. Not throwing this week with you guys. So he'll be back next week. We'll double up. Yeah, but like
gotta get some work in with you.
Gotta get back to work. Can't let that success get to his head.
Yeah, I've had a lot of really good coaches, and I've tried to coach my son up, and that's why I have him with you guys, because he listens to you. He doesn't listen to me. He says I know when I tell him stuff. Dad doesn't know shit. I could swear on here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do your
worst.
worst.
Had a good week this week. My son popped this week for whatever reason, and for
Hey,
anybody that has whatever grade. What's the youngest grade you guys work with? 4th?
Like 4th graders. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, from a quarterback standpoint,
The young bucks.
and I remember when I grew up I'm a Western Pennsylvania kid, grew up in Pittsburgh. Football was everything. Joe Montana went to my high school. I was 7 years old. My dad coached him. I was a water boy at that time. We had Stan Musial, Ken Griffey Sr. from our school. It's just a little town of like 15,000 people, but football's life. We had Al Quippa, where Ditka, Revis, Dorsett, like all those guys came from there. Ty Law, all Hall of Famers. And football was life on Friday nights. You shut the town down. But if anybody out there wants to get the quarterback going, I never had this when I grew up. What I did, I played 3 sports. I played football, basketball, and track. And my dad made sure I played 3 sports, and I never had a year-round training. Never knew how to read coverage. I didn't know how to read coverage until I was in Maryland. And Joe Krivak was my quarterback coach, and eventually my head coach when Bobby Ross left after the lead bias death, which was one of the worst days in the Maryland program. So, and Celtics. So, go Celtics.
Yeah. So talk to us just a little bit about your early days. You touched on it, but obviously growing up in a small town like that, I mean, seeing Joe Montana play on Friday nights and then having your dad be heavily involved as the AD, the head coach, going through that process. Just talk to us a little bit more about that, like your high school playing days, and then maybe your recruiting process a little bit, because obviously the way
everything's
NIL and everything's so different now. So give us an inside look at that.
So there was a guy by the name of Tom Donahue, who was one of the GMs at the Eagles before Howie Roseman got there. And Tommy ran this big camp. It was called Metro Index, kind of what you guys do, where you bring the quarterbacks in colleges come in and look at them. We only did it for a week in the summer. So I started getting those. So I'm a 6'5", 220 in high school. So you can't coach size. And I think when you have size, like that's the best thing. And I was talking to Billy O'Brien last week. My kid's a big kid. He's 6'5", 240. But he's moved a lot better than he has the past 3 years. And I was talking with Billy about it. He goes, let me ask you this. How many touchdowns did you throw in high school? I said, well, my senior year, I threw 10 touchdowns. And I was ranked the second player in the state coming out in 1986. So
Wow.
I could have went anywhere. Penn State recruited me. Jerry Sandusky came to my house once a month since I was in 8th grade. And he was great. He never knew any of this stuff. I had meatballs at Joe Paterno's house with his wife. I was a Penn State guy. I was going to go to Penn State. They eventually took one kid by the name of Tom Bill from Tom Rivers, New Jersey, and it pissed me off more than anything. So then everything changed. So my senior year ends. You're not in touch with any recruiters. But we knew when I played basketball, I had Howard Schnellenberger, Paterno, Bobby Ross in my basketball games. And that's how you weren't allowed to talk to the kids, but you knew where the coaches were and how they were interested in you. So my senior year ends, and you pick 5 official visits. So mine were West Virginia, uh, Miami, University of Miami, Maryland, Duke, and Penn State. So those were my 5. And eventually, after my trip to Maryland, where I got to meet Rob Lowe because they filmed Seeing Almost Fire in 1986 there, the best thing about getting recruited is after my senior year was done, they bring you in for the trips. You have unofficial, you have 5 official, and you can have as many unofficial as you want. But I was only 3 hours away from Maryland and Western Pennsylvania. So Lenny Bias and Lefty Drizel was the head coach. I got to see all the Carolina, Maryland, Carolina, Duke games. Steve Spurrier was at Duke, and I went down to Cameron Indoor. I sat under the bucket to watch Maryland play there, Syracuse. Went to Louisville. Howard Schnellenberger went to Louisville. Promised I would start as a freshman. Scared the living shit out of me. And then I committed to Maryland eventually. My mom cried. She wanted me to go to Duke. I got recruited by Harvard. They had to accept me first. I was a pretty smart kid, believe it or not. I look like an idiot now. But what I have is a photographic memory. And then you guys all laugh. You give me a playbook this thick, and I remember everything. Like, I don't need to see it twice. I do this on the radio, too. It's like a lot of guys will see Felger and Mavs will be pulling up the internet. I sit there, and I don't need it because I'm already prepared to do the show. It's all up here, and I read and I react. I'm part of the fun bunch, right? So my mom wanted me to go to Duke. My dad was best friends with like Schnellenberger, so he wanted me to go to Louisville. My uncle Chuck was the quarterback on the undefeated Delaware team the year Kennedy got shot. He played for Tubby Raymond, and he lived in Maryland, like 5 minutes from campus. And I loved Uncle Chuck. He's still alive. My dad's passed since then, but Uncle Chuck's still ticking out there. He'll end up seeing this. So he used to come up to all my high school games. I just felt like when I went to Maryland, I got my second dad there, and I just loved the campus. I fell in love with it. And I just felt like that place was right. They took me out. I threw up for 3 days after my official visit. I funneled pictures of Long Island iced tea. And when you're an 18-year-old kid, like, this is iced tea. This is great. And I remember sitting at the bar and my head starts spinning. I just start puking everywhere. And I had to meet with Bobby Ross the next day. But then, like, I committed to Maryland, so 86. Next thing you know, so Major Harris ends up going to West Virginia. I go to Maryland. A couple other kids went elsewhere. Eddie ended up going, I think, Stanford. Ed McCaffrey, who I'm still good friends with. And I get to Maryland. So in the 86 summer, I enter early, so I got to see Lenny Bias playing all those outdoor basketball games. And I knew Lenny from watching him for the recruiting process. Then the draft happens. And then the cocaine stuff and the heart attack happens. And that ripped the entire program apart.
Yeah.
It was harder to get into Maryland after that than to get into Duke or Virginia or one of the top schools, because Lefty ended up leaving. Bobby Ross ended up going to Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech, excuse me. Ended up winning there. And at that time, if you transferred, we could have transferred, you had to sit out a year.
You had to sit out, right? Yeah.
This whole bullshit portal thing now, it's ruining. I think NIL and the transfer portal is ruining the sport because there's no commitment to a team. Like, and I've talked to Billy about this. So, with Castellanos, he had to go to Florida State. If you're unhappy, I can go there and I'll get paid more money. I had this story about some kid. I'm not going to name the name, but he's on his 4th team in 1 year because he's unhappy.
Yeah.
When you commit to go to school, the greatest thing I did is I sat. So it was Boomer Esiason, Mike Reich, Stan Gelbaugh, Neil O'Donnell, and me, and it was boom, boom, boom in Maryland. There was one time, I think in 1994, all 5 of us were starting on one Sunday, and no other NFL, no other college team
Yeah, that's a
could say
crazy
that. Miami had
room.
4
Wow.
at one time. We had 5 because Neil was with Pittsburgh, I was with New England, Boomer was with Cincinnati or the Jets. Obviously, Kelly was down in Buffalo, and then Stan Gelbaugh was in Seattle. So,
Wow.
but it was a blessing to me that Bobby Ross left because Joe Krivak, my quarterback coach at the time, took over, and we ran the Ernie Zampese offense, split right, scat right, 868, double arrows, and that's how we called the plays. That whole thing, and I played in a Ron Earhart system in New England. I never played West Coast. I don't know how quarterbacks operate the West Coast offense, like the Gruden stuff.
Yeah.
I would be lost. But I was fortunate enough to have 5 years in college. I redshirted, get me to the pros, drafted in the 4th round. New England drafts me. So it was Hugh Millen, Tommy Hodson, and myself. Parcells takes over. We draft Bledsoe. And I backed up Bledsoe for 9 years. He never got hurt until he broke the finger. And that's eventually when I played. So
Yeah. Now, like the draft process going into that, like you play your senior year. Were you thinking like I'm going to be a high draft pick at that point? Like,
no.
what was the feedback from the scouts? What was the
So
process with all that?
I had no clue. So at the time when the combine started, I was like the 15th guy on the board, quarterback wise. So I got a call. I did not pick an agent at the time. I knew who I was going to pick, but I started to climb up because of the interview process. They said, "Hey, could you come to the combine early, 5 days early, and throw to the defensive backs?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I went to Indianapolis, and my arm ended up falling off after about a week. But so all these scouts and pro guys got to see me, my measurements, 6'5", 218 at the time. My hand size, from here to here was an 11. So
Big
the
hands.
eventual agent that I went with was Ralph Sindrich, my player agent. Ralph's a Pittsburgh guy. He played for New England. But he said, "You're going to go through the combine. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a shoe, you're going to take a scalpel and cut the inside out. You're going to go through and measure before you do the vertical jump. Then you're going to put on another shoe with 5 inserts in it. And you're going to gain 3 inches on the jump." So you do different ways to get around it. But I remember, so the whole Jerry Maguire thing, the guys knocking on your door. Nobody knew who Drew Rosenhaus was at the time, but I'm sitting in a hotel, knocking on my door. Drew Rosenhaus and all these shoes around his neck. "Hey, I'm Drew Rosenhaus. I'm a new agent. Like, hey, here's my card. You want a shoe?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm not fast anyway." So, but I'll never forget that. But being there and being exposed to throw to defensive backs, and then I lit it up. So my year, it was Todd Marinovich went, I think, first. Dan McGuire, Mark McGuire's brother, went to Seattle. And then Jerry Glanville was going to take either me or Brett Favre. He ended up taking Favre in the second round. Browning Nagel went after him in the second round. He actually passed away this week from colon cancer. Get your tests out there, everybody. 58 years old, passed away, awful. And I was the 5th guy to go. So me being at the combine and being exposed, I only played 1 year at Maryland. I had no dreams of playing in the pros, but the greatest thing about playing in Maryland, so we played our full ACC schedule. This bullshit about them being in the Big Ten with UCLA, it's a bunch of bullshit. This stuff sucks. And it's like you play all these four games at teams you never heard of. So I played the full ACC schedule. Our 4 out of conference games were Michigan, Penn State, Virginia Tech, and Miami. That's our 4 out of conference games. Then you
Yeah.
play the full
Insane.
ACC schedule. So my 1 year, we went 7-5, got in the Independence Bowl.
Quick shout out to our sponsors over at Lowney Sports. I've known Tim personally, and he's been a longtime supporter of both youth and high school athletes. He's also an attorney of over 25 years and both an NFL and NIL agent. Many think NIL is expensive, unnecessary, or that it only matters once you have an offer, but there's a lot more to know before the scholarships and deals start coming. To contact Tim for a free NIL consultation, call 617-733-8313 or visit lowneysports.com.
M2QB Academy is also a Wilson brand affiliate. When you're buying Wilson merchandise, go to the website, click checkout, and plug in our promo code M2QB-456 and save some money with your purchase.
You get to the NFL. What's your welcome to the NFL moment? Like what's the most eye-opening, biggest change,
biggest hit
story
I took?
from just anything
Okay, so I'll talk about my first start. We were 0-9. Hugh Millen was hurt. He was on IR. Tommy Hodson broke his wrist. He goes to IR. We're 0-9. We go to Indianapolis, and I just get thrown into the mix. We had good players, but it was like mismanagement of some really good talent. So my wide receivers were Irving Fryer, Michael Timpson, and Greg McMurtry. My tight end was Mark Cook, who was a Pro Bowler. His backup was Ben Coates, who actually went to draft after me, believe it or not. Yeah, Pats fans, how about that? But like, and my running backs were John Vaughn, Leonard Russell, and John Stevens. And Bruce Armstrong was like my left tackle. Like we had talent. But I remember playing Indy and I hit a couple underneath things and Irving got in my ear and he's just like, hey, dude, just, and I got the good Irving Fryer. I heard a lot of bad things about Irving, but Irving was great with me, great work ethic. He goes, I'm going to run curls and you just throw it on my outside shoulder. Just don't throw it on the 0 out there. Don't throw it on the 8 because you're going to get a pick. We start moving the ball and then we get the ball back right before the half. Jeff George, that prick, was the Colts quarterback. He ends up getting introduced and he gives the double freedom rockets. What a goofball that guy was. He came out the year before me. Like, look at the schools he went to: Indiana, Illinois, Miami. He transferred everywhere. But that dude could throw the rock. Like he could spin it. So like we had half a minute left in the first half. And they never really taught me a ton of coverage. I'm the third quarterback. I'm running scout team. And I just remember the safeties. We went covered. They went, for whatever reason, they went cover 2 on me. Irving was on the outside. The safety cheated with him. We had Timpson on the outside here. McMurtry was in the slot to the left. And I had pressure coming on me and I was going to get hit. And I just remember seeing safety split, close my eyes, and I fired it right down the middle of the field. McMurtry catches it, creases the safeties, and he scores with like no time left in the first half. I look around to see if there's any flags, took my helmet off, and did the bow. And that was the beginning of it. And then I had a helmet. That gave me confidence. Like it's one of those type of plays or pass
Yeah,
that get the
definitely.
kid going. Like everything about playing a position is confidence and belief that you can do it. And I didn't have great help. I didn't have great coaching until Bill Parcells. Ray Perkins was my offensive coordinator. Ernie Zampese, Charlie Weiss, Dan Henning with the Jets. My God, you name it. North Turner with I had some of the best coaches and they taught you coverage eventually. I didn't know it then, so I'm just playing out of my ass at that time. Then we went 2 in a row. You'll love this story because Deion Sanders came on my show at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And I said, Deion, you won't remember this. I said, we're playing Atlanta. I was on a 2-0 run. We go down to Atlanta and we ran a flea flicker. And Irving was running deep post and he quit on a route, but I went to throw it away deep down the middle of the field. And Deion ran it down and caught it with one hand. And then, ran it back about 20 yards. And fast forward about a quarter later, he picks me off again. And he does the, hold the ball up and he's doing the high dance and show right down the sideline with him hitting him out of bounds. But here I come and I spear him right in the back. Flags go 15 yards. It's a full on fight. I'm on the Atlanta sideline, get my ass kicked. I'm on top of Deion, beating the shit out of him. And Goldberg, the wrestler, was an Atlanta Falcon type.
No.
Pulls me off of him. And Deion goes, I remember that. You were hit me in the head. I picked your ass off twice. I was going to pick your ass off 2 more times after that, but they benched me because we were winning by then. They were winning so much by then. Goldberg pulled me off him. So that was my Deion moment. And I've kept in touch with Deion since he went, when he's at Jackson State, I texted him a lot. And credit to you for what you've done there, building a program. And taking that to Colorado, with his kid and just, Travis Henry and that. He did a phenomenal job. But Deion was special. Like, there are corners. When you play in the league, you don't throw Ty Law. You don't throw it. Who's the guy that played for Denver? 24. Killed the name.
Champ Bailey.
Ben Watson runs in down. You don't throw Deion Sanders. I didn't care. I tried to throw Deion. But Irving gave up on
That's
2
that conviction right there.
Yeah, and I got smoked on that. So it's stuff like that. And then I'll tell the Bledsoe story real quick. When Drew broke his finger, I'm thinking this is great. I take all the reps in practice. San Francisco. No, it was we played 2 teams prior to San Francisco. The game I had against San Francisco to beat Steve Young. And we get to Friday, and I'm the starter on Friday. So the surgeon comes in, he goes, hey, Drew, if I take a cast, so Drew shattered the tip of his finger, he had screws, and he had a pin sticking out of it about half an inch. If I put a splint up the back and we shoot your finger up, and I remember the surgeons holding him down. They had to shoot up each individual joint and him screaming. You talk about toughness to play. Numb the finger for 4 hours. Then he went out and threw it. He threw a tighter spiral because you guys know what's the last thing to leave the football when you throw it? The index finger.
Yep.
So the tip of the metal pin dug in a football, and he threw better with it. But eventually,
Wow.
2 weeks after that, the finger, fortunately enough, fell apart, and I got to play the 49ers. We won that, got in the playoffs. And this is where I'll give you the Belichick story. So we studied all this film with Belichick and Parcells. Parcells was head coach. Belichick was defensive coordinator for the Jets. And all they did was blitz, blitz, blitz. This is when they were good. You know, Curtis Martin, Vinny was there.
Yeah.
You know, Bart Scott, all those guys. And we prepped for 4 days against the blitz. And all we did was blitz stuff in practice. We get in the game. He went Tampa cover 2, never blitzed. And they just rushed 4 and just confused the shit out of me. And that's typical Bill. Making you prepare for something.
Yeah.
And one more Belichick story here. And now I love Bill. Bill's one of the greatest. I had a great relationship with him. Shit went wrong. We'll get into that real quick in the final 2 years. So after the Seattle game, when Butler picks it off, I said on the broadcast, it's got to be one of the dumbest calls in Super Bowl history. You know, to not give it to number 24. You deserve an interception on that. We're at the stadium the next day, 2 days after that, because there was a snowstorm, waiting for the parade. Bill calls me in his office. And he goes, hey, I just want to talk to you because I don't want you to say bad things about Pete Carroll. I'm going to show you what happened. So this is him and Ernie Adams were in the office at the same time. So he had a 3rd and 1 pulled up from the first quarter. First quarter, 3rd and 1, Bill's in a regular defense. They handed it off to Lynch. He gained 4 yards. So Bill called an audible like in the second quarter. They went goal line in the middle of the field, hit him for a 2-yard loss. So this is the process when he didn't call timeout. He's looking at the sideline, and he goes, send goal line, Malcolm, go. They sent goal line in, which Ernie knew, and they practiced for that. You see it in the documentary. They practiced for that double slant, you know, the pick.
Pick play. Yeah.
Bill said, so us sending goal line in with Malcolm made him know that they had to check on it. It was either run or throw. Russ checked in the pass, which is what he should have done. And it was a good ball. Malcolm just played it better. So that's why, you know, it wasn't just a bad call. It was the right call. They should have thrown it. And I'm like, he's like, just be careful when you call games like that to understand what's going on. So that was really nice of him, like on a day of the parade, pulled me aside to explain what happened on that play. So
that's cool.
That's insane.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
I got a question for you. So me and my dad have this argument all the time, and I wasn't obviously around when Bledsoe was playing, but we have this argument all the time where he says that Gillette is the house that Bledsoe built, and I obviously say, how can you say that when you have Tom Brady and what he did with the Patriots? So what would your input be on that? Do you think that Gillette is the house that Bledsoe built or the house that Brady built?
So I played in that Foxborough Stadium where there was 1/3 of the people in there in those bad years, the 2 and 14 years. Gillette gets built. Sells coming back or coming in to coach started everything. Sells and Drew set off the whole ride. And you look at some of those 01, those 2001, 2003, 2014. A lot of those guys were Parcells drafts, the Terry Glenn's, the Curtis, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, 4th pick overall. Those are all Parcells picks, you know, and, you know, Bill got the benefit of it. Bill knew it, but what's funny is I knew those guys didn't get along. And if you ever get the time, watch the 30 for 30 on the 2 Bills that ESPN did. There's a fantastic thing with those 2 guys talking about it because they're friends now. You know, you get outside the Jets locker room. Where is he goes, I don't want to go in that fucking locker room. You want to go in there? Fuck that. Let's go. Like, that's the way it was. But it was Parcells and Bledsoe that started it all.
Yeah.
But like that hit Mo Lewis had on him, he almost died. You know, I knew stuff that Belichick got pissed off that I heard about it and said it on TV and stuff that they were draining blood out of Drew's lungs. Charlie Weiss went in to visit him, and there's one point I think they read Drew's last rites. And but what was told to Drew was, hey, when you're back and you're healthy, you'll compete for your position. So Drew felt like he was done a raw deal, but that was Tom's team at that time. You know, you talk to Lawyer, you talk to Willie, those guys, that was Tom's team.
Yeah.
Belichick made the right, and I love Drew. He's one of my best friends. He just sent me. So the best thing about his wine, get his wine double back, $93 a bottle of fantastic wine. Whatever vintage he has coming out, bottle 16, he saves for me, signs it and sends it to me. So I'm about
Oh, that's
7 of
awesome.
those suckers. It's awesome. But
I need that.
I
type
didn't
of
think at that
treatment.
time he made the right decision, but obviously he did. You know,
What goes into that? Like the freaking onions to make that decision at that point in time with what pick
so
in the draft was Bledsoe? I
what's
don't even
funny?
know.
What's
But
funny is I talk about this with Felger. Felger was working for the Herald at the time, covering a team, and I remember being down at Bryant. Damon Heward was the backup. Brady was the third guy. I think they kept the fourth guy. Who the hell was it? Maybe a big Michael Bishop. I don't know. Drew was the starter. And Felger's like, "What do you see?" I said, "What I see is number 12 making a push here. Is he's throwing better than Heward? He might be throwing better than Bledsoe in some of the stuff." And Felger and I to this day still talk about that. He goes, "Remember you told me that day by the shed that Tom was making that push, and the second Drew went down, it wasn't Damon. They sent Tom in, and the rest is history, man."
yeah, that's
That it
crazy.
is.
Being around Tom Brady all those years, like what are some stories or some things that really stood out to you about him?
So Tom's been great to me. I've seen him a lot over the years. Just texted with him this week because I sent pictures of Brody and updates. He sends pictures of his kid Jack, and Tom's so busy, he's got his hands on a lot of things. It always takes time. Like second I text him, within 5 minutes he's texting back, and that you imagine the text that guy gets. So when he was retired, I knew he was upset when he left here. So he wanted the Drew Brees contract, 2 for 50. I think Bill offered him 1 for 13, and that's when he knew he had to leave. I think it still hurts him. He had to go to Tampa Bay to still win the whole damn thing, where he loved playing here. He loved, he and Bill had their issues, but they're great now. He's great with Robert. But when Tom was done and he went into broadcasting, he knew how I talked about the game. He goes, "Hey, after your show, you got time to talk about calling the color." And I stayed at the sports hub in the office for a while, and I went on a 2-hour conference call with him. And he's talking about everything. I'm like, "Tom, you're going to get in these meetings, production meetings. Everybody's going to talk to you. That's going to be the problem." He goes, "But like, how technical do you call it?" And I said, "Well, my mother-in-law gave me the best advice. When I first started doing games, I was talking cover 2, cover 6, backside roll, over, under, which way the nose is shaded, 3 technique, 5 technique, wide 9 on the edge." She goes, "Honey, I love you. I have no clue what the hell you're talking about."
Mm.
And so it made you think. And I'm like, I told Tom, you got to dumb it down a little bit, for the audience, because Tom is maniacally technical. And I think at the start, he had a tough time, but I think he's gotten better. Romo was fantastic when he first started. I think he's gotten worse, if that makes
agree.
sense. Yeah, lazy.
I agree.
But it's crazy. I think Aikman's the best doing a gig on TV. I think Herb Street has too much on his plate. He's a college guy. You're Herb
Yeah.
Street with Al Michaels
His
on
schedule is
Amazon.
insane.
Yeah. Pete the dog, like, give me a break. I got dogs. Like, enough of that. So I got so upset when one dog died. I'm like crying, watching him cry. Then you find out he's got 5 of those things at home. Purebreds. I've been through bulldogs. I've been through 5 dogs, man. Like, everybody has dogs. I love dogs. I'm a dog person. Like, dog died.
Dog
We're
is the
still talking
best.
about it. Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, what was like you finish your playing career and then was it always like a thought that you were going to get into broadcasting? Was that like something that you wanted to do, or how did
Scariest
that
thing when
come
you're
about?
done. So I played 10 years, and scariest thing when you're done at 33, you're out of the workforce. So all these kids that graduated college at 23 have a 10-year jump on you. I had no clue what I want to do. I still don't know what the hell I want to do. I'm 58 years old. Sorry. I have no clue what I want to do. I'm doing sports radio now. Bob Lobel calls me from Channel 4 in 2001. He goes, "You're done. Why don't you come do pregame and postgame with us?" So I started doing TV there with him, and I was terrible at it. I hate hearing yourself, all that stuff. And then I was working for College Sports Network, CSTV, which was CBS College TV on the west side of New York with Adam Zucker and those guys. And I would drive down, do the whole college game day till midnight, wait for the USC game to come in, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd drive back to do Patriots pregame at 11 o'clock. So I'd probably sleep 4 hours. And that's how you had to grind. And I did that for like 5 years. And then there was a call from my boss, Mark Hannon, who put the Sports Hub together 16 years ago. He goes, "We want to do another station. CN's going to go under. We're going all sports." Fugger and Mass are going to do afternoons. Toucher and Rich were going to do mornings. We're looking for a midday guy. It was going to be me and Tangway. So it was me and Tangway, then me and Gresh, and it's been me and Beetle for 13 years since that.
Bring in the Beetle, baby.
No plan to do any of it. Never knew any of it. But it's funny how things work out. You get it, you get your mold, and you roll with it. But hardest thing is to do something different 4 hours a day. You know what I mean? You guys coach quarterbacks. Every Thursday, like where my kids go, you can't do the same thing. We need a new drill.
Yeah.
We need to get somebody on platform. You need to hold people. And it's about time spent listening because fortunate enough, we work in Boston where it's 4 great teams year round.
Right.
And the biggest things that we look at, Patriots are number 1, Red Sox are number 2. They're always a talker. Celtics, then Bruins. And it's good to have in the playoffs.
What are some of your favorite calls over the year? Because the years, one of my. All right, can I just
go ahead? Yeah.
This year, the flag route to Hunter Henry against the Chargers in the playoffs.
We went viral.
Places going bonkers.
Yep.
One of the best of all time.
So there's 2 I'll never forget. Obviously, the unicorn show ponies where's the beef. That was not written. Nothing's written. It's all organic for me. For whatever reason, the Kimbrel Tompkins catches that in the back corner. Everybody left. Who left the building? Unicorn show ponies. Where's the beef? My producer, the boss, calls me in. Don't ever do that again. It was the number 1 call on ESPN at the end of the year, and I sent it to him an email for him. Go, double freedom rockets right there. So that gave me the confidence to continue to do that. And then the divisional playoff game against the Ravens, the Revis year, we were down 14 twice. And they played Josie, and the place is rocking.
Oh my God, that's my favorite clip.
They did
favorite clip of all time.
The lateral to Edelman to Amendola. You can pull the clip up, Google it, whatever. That's the first time I ever felt Gillette shake. Gillette does not shake. It shook that night. And that was sort of the night when Hunter Henry won. We felt the same thing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But my 2 favorite games I ever called was Super Bowl 49 against Seattle and the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs in Kansas City. Like, I know it's a playoff. I know it's a divisional or championship game. That's better than any Super Bowl we've done after that. Like,
that's what Hoyer said. Hoyer said that was his favorite moment.
Yeah, if you talk, like Edelman has said that on his podcast too. Like, they have that as like their top game.
Like, think about the things that happened. Did Edelman touch the ball or not? There were 3 third. You heard Josh talking about 3 3rd and 12s. And stupid Kansas City's playing cover 2 man. Tom knows he's going to Julian. He's just sitting there waiting, pumping the feet. Julian looks up and he cuts across. Boom to him, and then Gronk. And then you run it in with Burkhead. Hey, we're going to another Super Bowl. It was great.
That game was unbelievable.
Was there something to that Mahomes, Brady? Like, there had to be a little extra something there. Brady's last couple years.
That's when they changed the rule.
Making sure that he was getting over the hump as the guy. Because the last Super Bowl, I mean, the Buccaneers just hammered him. Right?
I give Tom credit.
Game.
And I'm down there and I'm doing post game for Channel 4. It's 5th quarter. It's after the game. And Tom comes out and he didn't do the interview. He went to Kansas City locker room to find Mahomes, talk to him. And they've had a great relationship since that. But this is how this thing works. Like, the league changes the rules. Now you get the ball. So the whole thing, these stupid coaches, we win a coin flip. We'll take the ball. No, you defer. You want them to either get a touchdown or a field goal. Because if we get a field goal, if we get a touchdown, we win the game.
Right.
There's some stupid coaches in this league. It's unbelievable. 11 new ones this year.
Someone said that they almost either forgot the rule or overthought the rule. I can't remember who it was, but
I love sudden death.
Yeah.
It should be sudden death.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
I agree.
Stevie, what were you going to ask?
No, I was just going to touch on the commentating. Like you and Sosi, I wish I could like shut off the game sometimes and time it up where I could just listen to you guys.
You can't.
It's tough. It's tough.
You got to get it on the iPad. You got to get it on Xfinity. You got to match it up. Like I tell people all the time. So I've been doing games with Bob.
We're going to have to talk about that.
We've been doing it for Bob for 15 years. So I'll tell you a quick story. So Gil Santos and Gino were doing it again. They put me in the sideline because Gil's vision was going. My favorite Gil Santos moment, John Madden was doing a game next to us. So our radio booth at home games is right next to the TV booth. And Gil would suck butts during the game, cigarettes, during timeouts. John Madden sent his guy over to say, "Hey, tell that guy to go put a cigarette out." Gil knocks on the window next to him and goes, "F you, buddy," And I'm like, he just flipped off John Madden. one of the greatest Gil Santos moments ever. But that's what makes football great, man.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in the car for work, so a lot of the times I end up listening to you guys, and I could
Good, I
turn it
appreciate
on,
that.
and the first thing I hear is yeah, and I immediately get fired up. I'm like, I know something good just happened.
And I've got ripped for that. Oh, you're a homer, like you're Tommy Heinsohn. Tommy, even in
I
bad
love
games,
it. Point.
Tommy in bad games would cheer. When things are bad, I rip the shit out of them. And
You did, yeah.
the team has never told me to, hey, ease up, you know. And when it's bad, it's bad. It's good, it's good. My job is to paint the picture from an emotional standpoint because it's radio.
You do a good job.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a TV call. But
So
Freaking awesome.
you talked about coaches and how there's a lot of bad coaches, obviously a lot of good ones too. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with Josh McDaniels and your opinion on him and just the greatness behind Josh McDaniels?
he's effing elite. to see what he did with Drake this year. This is where I felt bad, where it went bad for Mac Jones. So Mac Jones, rookie year, beats out Cam Newton. Josh was the offensive coordinator. Then obviously he went to the Raiders after that. And for some reason, Bill thought Matt Patricia could coach the West Coast offense as a defensive coordinator and move over to O. And it killed Mac Jones. And the second Mac Jones went to the 49ers, I said, he's going to do great there because he's going to get with Shanahan. Because that whole offense is predicated on zone throws. We get guys open. We just lay the ball. Because Mac, he doesn't have a gun, but he's smart as hell. But I think that transfer when Josh left, but, Billy O'Brien came back, couldn't fix Mac. And then, obviously we drafted Drake. And the obvious thing was to go get Josh McDaniels. The whole thing I laugh at is, Vrabel and Josh, they're never going to, I see them on a plane. I see them, they're laughing together. Like, they know it. And I think the reason Mike doesn't give Josh all the credit is, you guys know, like, you got young guys on the staff. They got like 23 guys, a lot of young guys, upcomers. Mike has to bolster their egos and always just kiss Josh's ass, Zach Kerr, who took over for Terrell, who's the assistant head coach now. He had, obviously cancer, and he overcame that, but he's not the DC. So you see a lot of coaches that don't get the credit that they deserve, and I think Mike's aware of that, and that's why he credits those young guys.
What's your honest take on where the Patriots are at right now? Obviously, great year last year. Some will say credit the schedule, right?
Yeah.
Or
schedule is what it is.
the
That's
right way for them.
We had a great schedule, great travel. It's going to be a bitch this year. To West Coast. I don't know the international game. Probably either going to play in Spain or Germany. Thank God we're not going to go to Brazil. That's a 14-hour flight. You can't leave your hotel. But I would take a 10-7 team that is better than a 14-3 team. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more built. They're better built. Like, for him getting Byron to come here and police the secondary with Gonzalez, Davis, Marcus Jones is the nickel corner. Our secondary is badass. Then you got Milt Williams. If they get an edge guy in a draft, we get AJ in. Yeah, we're contender every year. We're there.
I think we're going to be even better than last year. I really
think
do.
We'll be. I said that. Like, we'll be better at 10-7 than 14-3 with a better team.
Yeah,
because the double bye is
tested
gone.
too.
The bullshit thing about the league, like, I think you should have 2 byes. You got 1. Like, there's always something to fight for. And then when one team runs away with it, you're not fighting for the bye. You got to rest guys those last 2 weeks because you're going to be the number 2 or 3 seed. So the bye sucks.
Sense. Draft week this week, though. What are we thinking? Pat's first round.
I have no clue. It's a weak draft. I think they might take a tackle. They might take an edge. I think they're going to take an edge defensive guy. But if the tackle slips, like say the 2022, we got a lot of picks in the 3rd and 4th round. You trade up to get the 22 to maybe get right tackle in the future, and then you're off and running.
No, they have 11 picks right now.
A lot, you don't want 11 guys.
But our first rounder is probably going to go if AJ Brown, if the deal goes through, that's probably our first round pick, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it'll be next year's. We can't.
It can't be.
It won't be this
year.
Year's,
After the draft.
Sorry, I got allergies.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
Sorry. Oh man.
Yeah, post June 1st. Yeah.
Oh, it's bad, dude.
Post June 1st.
Yeah. So
I don't even understand that, to be honest with you. Why is it?
The league has to change that. So it's like a $90 million cap it if you do it now with dead money. It cuts it in half to 43 after June 2nd.
So you think it will be a first round pick?
I think it'll be maybe a 2 and a player next year or a first rounder. Yeah.
The 27 class is allegedly one of the best classes of all time. So that's a pricey pick.
Like, you need 3 years, but like, we're here this time last year, and I had no clue what Stephon Diggs was going to be. Look how good he was. So my point is, if you got AJ and he's got a bum knee and you get two or three good years out of him, great, do it. Because there's always going to be a Stephon Diggs at that time, the next guy to go get him. And Drake's going to be here forever. He's going to end up making $70 million probably starting next year. So Matt Stafford's deal's getting done.
Yeah.
They extended him. He's making $65 a year. Stafford.
Yeah.
Drake will top that.
Yeah,
next
Drake's
year.
going to set the market. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what like you played at a high level, you've seen it, you've called it. What do you see from Drake? What do you see? What do you see from Drake May? Like, what's your take on him?
I call him Bambi, silky smooth, like, deceptively fast because he runs straight up and down. I'm like, get the fuck out of bounds, man. Don't let him hit your head. Like, he still thinks he can run, you know. The off-platform stuff. And that game in Buffalo, that week 4, was unbelievable. Yeah. He's doing that at 22 years old.
That throw was a Diggs down the sideline.
He's got Bledsoe's arm with, you know, Mahomes' availability, if you call it that.
Yeah. He's mobile. He's a good player. I mean,
he's great.
He did struggle. I mean, I think year over year, like for you, what do you want to see from him next year? Like obviously the playoffs kind of
get better receivers.
Looked a bit different.
The problem is he threw
than the regular 75%. Season for him.
Our receivers don't get open. Every throw is tight coverage, so he's got to be perfect on every throw. You watch Philadelphia. You know, Jalen Hurts is throwing to guys like 5 yards behind people. We don't have that.
Right.
Keyshawn Boutte and Matt Collins are the 2 best receivers for us. They don't
I guess just making those guys relevant is kind of impressive in itself.
So you had Dobbs, you had AJ Brown. Different story now. Now it's a party. You know, yeah. Speed kills, guys. You know that.
I saw something today that Boutte might be on the market too.
Good for him.
He didn't show up.
Yeah,
I saw that today.
He doesn't have speed, but he catches everything. So
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played well at the stretch last year for sure.
Yeah.
We finish every podcast with a 2-minute drill, so we're gonna just rapid fire questions at you.
Okay.
2 minutes on the clock.
Yep.
All right, Al.
You ready?
You good? All right.
Dude,
you good?
2 minutes.
You queued up here?
Yep.
All right.
3, 2, 1, Mikey, go.
All right, here we go. One word to describe the New England Patriots right now.
Contender.
Most underrated spot to eat near Foxborough.
Cafe Assisi in Rentham. Italian food. Pizza. I would go with the pasta. Eat in. Do not do takeout. Eat in. It's phenomenal.
Most underrated position in football.
Left tackle. Everybody kills it. If you don't have a left tackle, you don't have anything. That's why Trent Williams makes the money he makes. You need a left tackle, you need a corner, you need an edge guy, you need a quarterback. Those are the 4 positions.
One teammate that you played with that you'd never let host the podcast.
Ben Coates. I'll tell you the story why. I was working for the Score in Providence with Andy Gresh. We were coming to Super Bowl back in Arizona. We had Ben Coates on live. He dropped an F-bomb 8 times in 1 minute. We didn't have enough dump buttons to cover it. The boss had to run in and pull us off air in studio. Ben Coates.
The Patriots are 0-9. Scott Zolak's getting his first start. What's on the headset pregame? What are you listening to?
Guns N' Roses. Ready for the World back in the day. Prince. And Social Distortion, Ball and Chain. Social D.
All right. If you weren't yelling about football, what would you be yelling about?
I'd be yelling about my kids. If I was yelling about football, I'd yell at my kids. I yell all the time. I mean, we're on vacation. Here's the thing. I jumped in the pool today with my phone in my pocket. And I'm swearing so bad that the neighbors came out to tell me to pipe down. And I had no clue. I had no clue that the new iPhones are waterproof. So the phone is fine.
Yeah.
But I thought I ruined my phone. My phone is everything. Like you guys, you know. You keep in touch with everybody.
You might be getting a check from Apple after that one.
Yeah, I should be.
Give
me a hard one. Come on, give me a hard question.
All right. Better feeling, throwing a touchdown or calling a touchdown?
I'm going to say calling a touchdown. Throwing a touchdown is awesome. I'll tell you the story. The Sean Jefferson touchdown against the 49ers. R.W. McQuarters was a corner, and we ran about 10 hooks, you know, and he's just sitting on everything. So we call hook. It was like 3rd and 7. We were on the 40 plus 45. Sean gets in the huddle and goes, no, the fucking curl. He goes, I'm going to give him a move and I'm going to go. Just throw it. I'm like, Sean, I can't change the play. He goes, just do it. Pete Carroll was the head coach at the time. So I dropped back. I think I was at my own 43. I threw the ball, I think, 71 yards in the air on a dime, and he catches it. And I get the side of Pete, like, can't do that, but what a throw, dude. It was unbelievable. Yeah, so that changing the play and hitting it was better.
Got it. Let's go. Best defensive player you ever played against.
The guy I played with was Ty Law, and then when I went to Miami, took Surtain and Sam Madison were the two corners there, and those two guys were phenomenal. Surtain's son is obviously one of the best in the league.
Yeah, he's a beast.
It's funny, like, now all the kids are playing. Shows you how old we are.
Crazy.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Who do you think is the toughest player for you to stay unbiased about?
James Harrison. James Harrison was one of the meanest dudes I've ever seen play. I loved his interview where the guys interview him, like, what about the combine or the draft? He goes, I wouldn't go to combine or undrafted. This interview's over. You didn't do any homework, so I'm leaving. Harrison was a bitch, man. He was great. Then he came here, and Tom Brady goes, hi, I'm Tom Brady. Nice to meet you, James. He goes, I know who you are. I tried to kill you for 5 years. Don't be trying to be nice to me. He goes, it's impossible to hate this guy. Yeah, but that's a Brady effect. Yeah, unbelievable.
Have you ever blacked out mid-call from excitement?
West Virginia. Frank Wycheck was my H-back in Maryland. We went to a one-back offense. I was a senior. Frank was a freshman. He set the ACC record for 11 catches a game. We ran H-option. I got hit so hard from the left side from West Virginia. I remember seeing Frank. He ran a wheel route. I put it up. He caught it right on his shoulder. And I blocked out. I get up, and I see he scored a touchdown. And I'm looking at the Jumbotron. I'm like, what the hell happened? And for the next 2 quarters, I couldn't hear on my left ear and no peripheral vision on this side. We ended up beating them. I had a slant route with 2 minutes left, beat West Virginia, and we all went out and jumped up and down on the state in the middle of the field. And they threw rocks at our bus on the way out. So that was one of the best wins ever.
You get one meal for the rest of your life. What are you eating?
Tomahawk steak, mashed potatoes, corn, not a focaccia bread roll, but a good roll on the side and no dessert. I'm not a sweet guy. Give me meat and potatoes, sort of a horseradish hollandaise type sauce to dip the steak in, just a little bit. Easy money, easy meal.
This is the last one I got. One broadcast call you wish you could do over.
One broadcast call. I don't have any because I'm on
I love
it.
that.
Just
I was
gotta roll.
hoping you'd say that.
No, like my son sits with me during the games, like when we're at home games, but like literally I'm on the edge of my seat. I've jumped up and down. I've knocked coffee over. I've spilled things. There was a time two women were trying to climb in a box right in front of us during a playoff game. That was our Henry game. We didn't get security there. It was crazy. But there's not one moment I'm not watching a game. I'm just locked in, man. Like pure energy.
Let's go.
I don't regret anything.
That's why we love you. That's why
but
we
if
love you
you-
up here in New England.
But seriously, people out there, if you got receivers, quarterbacks, they're young and looking to be good and get better, M2 Quarterback Academy, I'm telling you what, Mike and Alex and these guys, they do it better than anybody. We've been doing it for what now, 4 or 5 years with you guys, and you made such a great effect on my son. It's starting to click now. And it's been a lot of fun with you guys. Like, you pump the music, the energy's there, and you guys work with the best. And I think when you get good people around you, it pushes all the other guys to be better. So get with these guys. They know what they're doing. They're unbelievable. Seriously.
Yeah,
My son doesn't
man,
listen
so,
to me.
thanks, so.
I got all this knowledge. Played 10 years in the league. It's a bunch of bullshit. They listen to you guys. So love you guys. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate
Thanks,
you, man.
man.
You've been so awesome with us, and anytime you show up and you bring the juice, and all the kids are looking around and they know who you are,
Appreciate
and
it.
it just elevates us. So it's
We'll
your
get
support.
this out on Instagram and Facebook. I've been banned on Twitter for a year for shitting on San Francisco Stadium. That shithole got another Super Bowl. So I've been suspended for a year. I got 400,000 followers there. We'll get back on at some point. So
Awesome.
go.
You're the man, Zoe. We appreciate
Love
you.
you guys.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking the time.
Thanks, so.
appreciate you
Appreciate
guys.
it,
See
man.
ya.
See ya.